Okay, I think that I am live. Welcome to Crossing China's Red Line, episode number 8. Man, I can't believe that we've been going for 8 episodes already. Time really does fly when you're making fun of the CCP. So, welcome everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. It's a bit of an odd time and day for me to be doing this stream. I was supposed to do it on Thursday. Usually we do it every single Thursday at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time GMT. But unfortunately, last Thursday I wasn't feeling too great, a little bit under the weather, but now I'm feeling much better. Not 100%, but still way better than what I was. So it's time to do a stream. Thank you guys if you're watching in the chat. Maybe there's only a couple of you right now, but I'm pretty sure more people will come along if they see that I'm online. If not, I guess people will just have to watch the rerun. Anyway, we've got a good one for you today. Got quite a lot of funny clips, interesting stuff. We've got a mega embassy update. It seems that I'm just always talking about that mega embassy on this live stream, but it's very important here in the UK and it's essential that I cover it. Anyway, let me load up the video. I just need to find it. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to put this on the screen. Hopefully you guys will be able to see this. Okay. So our first story is the video's title and thumbnail. This is the main topic. And we're going to look at a funny clip that came out last week in Milan airport in Italy, I believe. So there were a bunch of people from China getting really pissed off because they were having to stand in the line at the airport and wait in the immigration line so they can go through and get into the country. Every country has this kind of immigration thing, and usually it's quite a fast process. Depending, sometimes I've been waiting for a long time, but you know what? When you're waiting for a long time, I think the best thing to do is to not get wound up by it. You can't do anything about it. But this guy, this old CCP grandpa, I believe he is an ex-CCP member, or probably still is. He's a retired, let's call him a retired commie old fart. And I can talk, I'm getting old myself, but this guy's way older than me. So I have the right to call him an old fart. But here he is. He's at the airport. Let's watch it. And then I will show you, I'll explain what's going on. So first, I just want to watch it. There's no subtitles, but we'll go back and I'll translate it for you guys word for word. So here we go.
中国人是伟大的，怎么样等待他？他这样子搞他有没有啊？对我们中国人就这么苦刻，2个人在搞，我们站在这里要2个小时，我们家人都在外面等了，大家叫起来，叫起来，快点！他想啊，我们中国人不当中国人。 不当人看待，
是2个窗口是太少了，外国人走的一个都没有了。
从来没有见过。
他歧视中国人。
是啊，他就是的。2个人搞这对我们这么多人了，还搞得这么慢，还把你混查实查，我们中国人的这个护照这个居留就不是人呐。我们中国人是伟大的，怎么样等待他？
Okay. Interesting stuff. Let's take it back. I just wanted to play the clip one time. Okay, here we go. So at the start there, he's like, we Chinese people are great. Okay, and here he's like, how can they treat us like this? Do foreigners get treated like this? Why are they so harsh towards Chinese people, is what he's saying here. There's like two people, only two people are handling the process. So what he means is there's only two people working at the immigration desks. Like we've been standing here for 2 hours while our family is waiting outside. Like everybody make some noise. Like he's basically trying to encourage everybody to kick off. And he was like, so just there, he was like, they not treat us as humans. He's like, yeah, there's two counties. There's only two people working, and all of the other foreigners are gone. It's only the Chinese people here. They discriminate against the Chinese people. Like, why is it so slow? Repeatedly, they're checking us all the time. Is our Chinese passport, our residence permit, not worth anything? He's pissed. He's pissed. And I kind of get it, you know, like when you're flying, when you're at an airport, it's not really the nicest experience in the world, is it? You're just herded around like a bunch of cattle. It happens all the time. I've been in queues in China, you know, I've seen the Chinese people go straight through and all of the foreigners having to stand in a big line. It's the same when I've arrived in the UK as a local citizen, as a British national. I get to go through first and I see a bunch of foreigners waiting in line. It just happens. Okay, and these guys seem pissed that there's only Chinese people there. I can kind of understand that, but here's the thing: it's because the Chinese people need a visa to get into Italy. I'm pretty sure of that, right? I'm sure a lot of other countries who are going through that line do not require a visa to get into Italy, so they can pretty much just go straight through. But these guys probably need a visa to get in there. So that's probably why they're the only ones there. There's probably a separate line for Chinese people because of this reason, not because of discrimination, just because of the way things are, right? There's no need to get so angry. And this is funny. This is the real kicker. And this is why in the title for the stream I wrote, this is real life proof that Taiwan is not China, because Taiwanese people get to go through. They don't need a visa to get in. They can just go through straight away. And I think this is part of the reason why these guys are so pissed off. We Chinese are great. And here's an example.
Where is the visa?
So this woman asks, where is your visa?
Taiwan, I don't need visa.
I'm from Taiwan. I don't need a visa.
You don't need visa?
It's not China, it's Taiwan.
It's not China, it's Taiwan.
Oh, you're Taiwan?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you can go through. So if Taiwan is a part of China, why, oh, why is their passport completely different? Why do Chinese need a visa to go to most places, including Taiwan, by the way, if Taiwan belongs to them? It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's interesting to see that this Chinese grandpa, this old CCP fart, is kicking up a fuss, kicking and screaming and pulling out his... Wait, he doesn't have any hair. He's like me, doesn't have any hair. But he's just getting so wound up, shouting discrimination, but here's the fact. China and Italy, up until recently, have had a very good relationship. Here's some footage of Chinese police and Italian police officers cooperating together with Chinese police actually patrolling the streets of Italy. So, you know, at one point, Italy really was one of the CCP's few allies in Europe. But obviously, things have gotten a little bit heated between the two countries. So, for example, recently in July of this year, Italian police actually arrested a Chinese national wanted by the FBI for his alleged industrial espionage. So, this happened in Milan, July the 7th. The story has been corrected. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, Italian police arrested a 33-year-old Chinese man who is wanted by the United States over alleged industrial espionage, which targeted projects, including efforts to develop a COVID vaccine, legal and judicial sources said on Monday. Okay, so you've got the whole espionage thing. And of course, in 2020, when the pandemic happened, well, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, when COVID happened, China blamed Italy for the birthplace as the genesis of this pandemic. Okay, so you can kind of see why Italy would be a little bit pissed off with China. And I'm not saying that they purposefully kept those Chinese citizens waiting at the airport, but it might be a reason for them to suspect them a little bit because of this espionage thing that's been going on recently. So anyway, I just found that very, very amusing. And again, it's just living proof, real life proof that Taiwan is not a part of China. There are many reasons. Obviously, you know, Taiwan has its own military, its own borders, its own laws, its own government, its own currency, and its own passports. Anyway, we have a mega embassy update, and I bet you guys can't wait to hear about the mega embassy. Man, we never talk about the mega embassy on this channel, do we? Oh, wait, I think we've spoken about it in every single stream, and I'm sure you guys are just sick of it. I'm sick of it too. But unfortunately, it's very important to things here in the UK because this mega embassy is a serious threat. Obviously, it's a threat to not only Hong Kongers, Chinese dissidents, people from Taiwan, and critics of the CCP like myself, because they could use this as a detention center. I know that sounds a little bit sensationalist, a little bit extreme, but it could happen. You saw what happened in Manchester at the Chinese consulate, where there were some Hong Kong protesters, and they tried to drag that Hong Kong protester in by his hair to take him into CCP territory, basically. So you never know. You never know. Now, I personally am not worried, but I know a lot of people from Hong Kongers, a lot of people from Hong Kong, and some of my Chinese dissident friends are extremely worried about something like that happening. I highly doubt that they're going to do anything like that to me. Fingers crossed. I've just jinxed that now, haven't I? Also, there are sensitive cables that are linked to the financial district in London, going right underneath that mega embassy. So there's worries that they could tap into that and get some crucial information. They have those basement rooms in the mega embassy, and oh my God, they redacted them from the actual plans. So they're not telling us what these basement rooms are being used for. The whole thing is a shit show, and I really hope that it doesn't happen. So anyway, we've had some news about the mega embassy. So let's see. So here it is in The Guardian. It says Chinese embassy approval could be unlawful if UK ministers gave advance assurances. Okay, so it could be unlawful. specifically if the ministers give Beijing if they gave them assurances about the project in advance. So basically, if Keir Starmer or his team made promises to the Chinese government about the embassy, it could constitute actual or apparent predetermination of the planning application, according to the legal opinion by Lord Banner, who is a top planning lawyer here in the UK. So, don't we already have evidence of Starmer giving Beijing assurances about the project in advance? Apparently, he had a phone call when he first came into office last year. Xi Jinping phoned him up to give him that whole congratulatory bullshit that every leader does. You know what I mean? And apparently, Starmer assured Xi Jinping that this mega embassy would go ahead. And also here in Rio de Janeiro, when Starmer met with Xi Jinping, doesn't this also sound like evidence of him assuring Xi Jinping about the mega embassy? Listen to it.
Pleased that my Foreign Secretary and Foreign Minister Wang met recently and discussed respective concerns, including human rights and parliamentary sanctions, Taiwan, South China Sea, and our shared interest in Hong Kong. We are concerned by reports of Jimmy Lai's deterioration, health in prison. You raised the Chinese embassy building in London when we spoke on the telephone.
Hear that? Is that not him saying that the application will go ahead because they spoke about it on the phone?
And we have since taken action by calling in that application.
So he's pretty much said that they took action to call in the application. Therefore, the application is going ahead. So this is pretty much the evidence of this.
Now we have to follow the legal process and timeline.
Follow the legal process and timeline. Well, it's probably unlawful in the first place, right? Because he made assurances about the project in advance before he went through the whole legal process. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay, so hopefully we'll keep an eye on what's going on with this, and fingers crossed it's not going to go through, and fingers crossed they get caught out with this, and the project just gets completely written off because he gave assurances about the project in advance. Let's hope that happens. Also, you know, there's a lot of pressure on these ministers, and they seriously need to tell us if they privately assured Chinese officials that they would help to progress this plan and application. They need to step forward. They need to talk about this. So yeah, my friend Mark Nygate, who is one of the Royal Court residents, and he's also the treasurer of the Royal Mint Court Residents Association, he's preparing to seek a judicial review if the embassy is approved. And obviously, this costs a lot of money. This is not a cheap thing. And he's got his fundraiser here. So if you guys want to check that out, please go and look for his GoFundMe. Save us from the mega embassy, support our legal challenge. So far, they've raised £22,000, almost £23,000. And it looks like their target is 99,999, which is 100,000 minus a pound. So if anybody is feeling generous, go ahead and make a donation, because this will definitely have a better chance of stopping the mega embassy than just sitting around doing nothing. So yeah, consider donating if you can. So yeah, hopefully we can get this done. This Lord Banner guy has said, for now, there's been no disclosure or formal evidence as to whether any assurances have been given or not, or what the nature of such assurances were. but he said it was of critical importance that any relevant written evidence, including any records indicating that assurances were given, must be preserved by the government, which will be obliged to disclose them if there is a judicial review. So, man, let's hope that this thing never happens. Anyway, let's move on. Oh God, this guy. Okay, let me just look at some of your comments while we are here. Matthew Moore says the spy trial was a bigger ordeal than this. Yes, mate, and I did cover that in the last stream, so go and watch it. Lewis, you can always talk about it. I need information when I debate with the United Front. Yeah, we need Lewis to update us. Thank you, guys, because nobody else really talks about this mega embassy. In case you didn't notice, I think I'm pretty much the only China guy that talks about it, really. So, anyway, let's move on. So this guy, Victor Gao, woo, one of the CCP's barking dogs. This guy is an absolute fool. He's been on many talk shows. He's had many a debate, and he always comes off as a complete and utter clown. He recently appeared on Times Radio, and I haven't listened to this yet. I wanted to listen to it live and just react to it. Just want to see what is going on with this guy.
The process and timeline.
Oops, took it back too far. So let's hear what this guy.
Britain wants to ruffle feather with China, the biggest. Britain wants to ruffle feather with China, the biggest economy in the world, a very powerful and influential military power in the world. Well, you need to be fully aware of all the consequences.
Is that a threat? If we want to ruffle feathers with the biggest economy in the world, then we need to be aware of the consequences? Is that some kind of a threat from old Victor Gao there?
We've had reports that China has been offended. The Chinese regime has taken offence at some of the discussions which have already gone on around the spy case. What do you think would be the consequence if the British government decides to deny the embassy, the new embassy?
I hope the British government will not do that stupid thing and will not.
I hope the British government will not do that stupid thing. Is this guy like a representative of the CCP? Man, even I'm more articulate than this guy.
Make that stupid decision because they know for sure if they do not give access to the site in London, China will not give access to the site they chose in Beijing.
Okay, so it's a tit for tat thing. That's always the case with the CCP, by the way. It's always a tit for tat.
Completely reciprocal basis. That will be a very nasty chapter in China-British relations.
Well, here's the thing. It's actually not reciprocal. It's not reciprocal because the embassy that they're going to give the British is hardly anything compared to what they're going to get here in the UK. That embassy in the UK, the London, the mega embassy, it's called a mega embassy because that is exactly what it is. It's huge. It's going to be the biggest embassy for a foreign government in Europe. It's absolutely massive. I don't know if any of you guys have been there, but I've been there plenty of times. I've walked around it. I even made a video where I walked around it with Mark, one of the residents of Royal Mint Court. And oh my God, it's huge. There's going to be living quarters for hundreds of families there. It's not only going to be an embassy, it's going to be like a mini hotel where ambassadors are going to stay, families are living there. It's crazy to think that this guy thinks that it's a reciprocal thing. No, it isn't. What are they giving to the UK? I haven't even seen the plans for it, to be perfectly honest with you, because it's not such a big deal for us, right? But yeah, this guy, man, this guy.
We've been engaged with each other for hundreds of years. There are pleasant things, there are
Nah, I underestimate him. He's a plank.
Pleasant things. And if Britain wants to ruffle feather with China, the biggest economy in the world, a very powerful and influential military power in the world, well, you need to be fully aware of all the consequences.
Oh no. This is the thing with these wolf warriors, is they're always full of idle threats like this.
And if that does happen and the embassy's denied, would Keir Starmer still be welcome to go on a visit to Beijing next year?
I think Prime Minister Starmer will be better advised not to do so.
Sorry, what did he say?
Keir Starmer still be welcome to go on a visit to Beijing next year?
I think Prime Minister Starmer will be better advised not to do so.
I think Starmer will be better advised not to do so. Okay, whatever. Like, who cares?
Not to come, in that case, you think?
I'm an optimist, and I have full confidence in China-British relations going forward, for the better, rather than for the worse.
And just finally...
So first of all, he's like literally making threats. And now he's an optimist and he thinks that the relationship is good and will go forward.
I've got someone describing here, one of our listeners, describing China as a malicious dictatorship.
I like this listener already.
When the stated aim is to bring communist rule worldwide by any means and is prepared to use lying and falsification. Is that a fair description?
Absolutely not. China is the major force defending free trade for all mankind, not only for the Chinese people, but also for the British people. And ironically, also for the majority of the people in the United States. China is the champion of free trade. And China now defends peace for everyone in the world. China is building up its military capabilities, of course, but that's a measure up against the United States to make sure that the American government and the people in the United States will be more peaceful, to make sure and jingoistic. A war should not be an option between China and the United States, and it should never be considered by Washington as an option against China. In that sense, China is the staunch defender of peace in this world.
Oh dear. Oh man, really? That's what I'm sorry, that's all I think. My favorite clip from China. Yeah, whatever, Victor Gao, whatever. Oh dear. That is just ridiculous. Everything he said there is just annoying. The defender of free trade and peace. Please, give me a gun so I can blow my brains out. All right, anyway, we are going to move on from old Victor Gao. I just thought that was funny and it was related to the mega embassy and the spy case. And now we're just going to look at some funny clips that I found coming out of China recently. Okay, I've been scouring the internet for some silly clips, and here is one. You always get these shills. They're always just talking about how amazing China's autonomous delivery vehicles are and how they're the future, and this is what the whole world is jealous of, and we all want these autonomous vehicles on our roads, but we can't because people will bust them up and steal them. But the problem is these autonomous delivery vehicles are broken. They suck and they're just breaking down and screwing up all the time. And here's one of them right now. Old guy trying to get past it in his bike. And it just keeps stopping and stopping. It's almost like it's deliberately doing that. It's kind of like it's become like self-aware, like Skynet from the Terminator films, you know? This is the start. I think this is the start of the war between the machines and the humans. This won't get out of his way. Now, obviously, these things, I do have to say, some of them do work. And, you know, it could be quite impressive. But the fact is that there seems to be quite a lot of problems with them. And there's a lot of clips coming out recently just highlighting that. And I just hate it how the shills, the CCP shills, they don't address this, you know. They'll just keep talking about how amazing they are without saying that they have shortcomings as well. And that really pisses me off. Anyway, let's move on. Holy crap. Okay, so there was this fire from a lithium battery on a plane going from China to Korea. Look at it. This is one of the scariest clips I've ever seen. If I was on this flight, I would absolutely be just shitting myself. Look at this. Oh my god. One of those power banks, right? What on fire? This is one of the reasons why when you get on a flight and they always tell you to take batteries out of things and keep them on you, because imagine that was stowed away in the bottom of the plane and it just caught fire like that. Nobody would be able to even put it out. So look at and you know what? Like, I'd say my hat is off to these passengers for remaining as calm as they are. I mean, it's quite lucky that they didn't just get up and start screaming and running around the plane, because that is what I would do in that situation, man. I would just think, man, this is over. It's game over. There's no way we're going to survive this. But you know what? Luckily, fortunately, plane managed to land safely, and all the passengers are okay. Fire out. Very lucky. Very, very lucky indeed. Very lucky. Man, that is hot. That scares the crap out of me, this scene. Like, I hate flying. I'll be the first to admit that I'm kind of afraid of flying, even though I've done it so many times. Just every time I get on a plane, I just start to feel a bit like really uncomfortable. I don't know, like, especially on those long haul flights, you know, you're on the plane for almost 14 hours when you're going from the UK to China. And you just think the chances of something happening in that 14 hours is much greater than obviously if you just take in a short, like, domestic flight or a flight from the UK to Amsterdam, which is like 40 minutes or something. You just think there's more chance of something going wrong. And seeing this footage, man, I don't think I ever want to get on a plane again. Seriously. And yeah, what was it? Hoverboards. Yeah, they're banned for putting on buses, those electric scooters and that kind of things. Power banks, they're not banned from most airlines. I think that they're banned from stowing them in your check-in suitcase, but on your carry-on, you can take a power bank. I've done it so many times. So yeah. Anyway, absolutely horrific. Okay, we got some more interesting footage. A lot of people say that everything's safe in China. you can just leave things out and people won't steal them. And oh no, you better watch out in London because everybody's stealing mobile phones from you. Yeah, but then you've got footage like this. Just a little girl walks into a shop and swipes a bag. Yeah. There are no thieves in China, right? And this dude just comes and rips off a bollard from the street, just cracks it with a mallet, sledgehammer, whatever the hell he's got there. Puts it on the back of his little bike there, and he's off to sell it. But luckily, the street sweeper saw him. Yeah, so everything's safe in China, you know. I feel like in China, there are a lot of opportunist thieves, you know. They'll see something like that. This guy, he's like, well, you know, I walk past this bollard every single day. Nobody seems to pay notice to it. I can just take it. Maybe I can sell it and get the money for scrap or something. Okay, we've got another clip of the old Punzer scam, the broken vase scam. It's where people just throw themselves in front of cars and they try to claim the insurance money from that person. They don't really throw themselves in front of fast-moving vehicles or anything. They usually just slowly jump in front of it and hope that nobody was filming. Luckily, though, nowadays, most cars have cameras in them. But look at this guy, look. He barely touched it. And I don't think he wants to damage his bike. Notice how gently he puts it down? You owe me money, dude. You owe me money. Pay me. Many times in China, you will probably end up having to pay this guy, by the way. Here's another one.
哎呦我操！来，你别走了！
So he just crashed into the guy.
别走了！
On his scooter, the guy gets out. He's like, "What are you doing?" And now you'll see. Now he just pretends to roll over, looking like he's hurt himself. Takes off his shoe for some reason. Guy's gonna phone the cops, I think. And he just gets a scooter and razzes off into the distance. So he probably realized there was a camera watching him. Was like, oh, I can't do this. It's all on camera. Okay, here's another funny clip. Boom! Guy just crashes into the car. Instead of waiting around. Just razzes off. Although it looks like he might have screwed with the wrong dudes. These guys look kind of gangster. Okay, we're on a bit of a like driving theme today. This guy is like the worst driver ever. Like, look, no spatial awareness. Rams right into that guy on the scooter. Oh no! And opens his door onto a road. Bang! Smacks that guy off of his bike. I think we've just got a case here for the worst driver ever. Man, so these are, you know, some of the crazy things that you see when you're living in China. I saw lots of incidents like this. It was crazy, you know, just lots of like really like bad decisions when driving, especially when you're in a taxi or something, and the taxi driver is just going absolutely insane, driving around, looking at his phone, like messaging while he's driving in a really busy, congested area. It's just insane what happens. And yeah, this does happen in other places as well, but it's just fun to point it out every now and again, because a lot of the CCP sycophants, the CCP shills, will just make out that China is like this organized mecca of a country. Everything's futuristic, and there are no accidents, there are no thieves, there's no homeless people. But the fact of the matter is that China is absolute chaos. And it's kind of fun when you're there. And when you see all of that chaos, it's fun to be around that, of course. But the shills will just make out that none of this ever happens. But I see videos every single day of stuff like this. And it's just great to, well, not great, it's just interesting to point it out and show the shills are just talking absolute bullshit about China.